protein, when people think of it, they're just thinking about the protein shakes and stuff like that.
Yes, but you don't need as much as people think. AdventFit is a podcast that has a holistic approach to physical, spiritual, and mental well-being. In each episode, we share productive ways to live a healthier and happier lifestyle. Unlike other podcasts in this space, AdventFit gives you a comprehensive approach to fitness without the fluff for the everyday Christian. Protein. What is protein? Well, it is amino acids linked by peptide bonds, which consist of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and usually sulfur, that have several essential biologic compounds.
Pro to the team.
Pro to the T. Pro to the T. Well, basically, protein is one of the 3 macronutrients, and its primary function is to build and repair body tissues and structures.
I mean, there's a lot of scientific stuff you're saying here. I mean, you got to break this down for the layman.
Yeah. I know my gym rats, my meatheads, my bros, they know everything about this topic, drinking their protein shake after every sentence. But listen, do you even AdventFit, bro? We're about to break it down.
What on earth?
How much protein do you actually need in a day? Well, that depends on your weight and activity level. For sedentary adults, you need 0.4 gram for every pound. And for strength athletes, you need 0.5 to 0.8 grams for every pound.
So you need more.
You need definitely more if you're a strength athlete. And for endurance athletes, you need 0.5 to 0.6 for every pound. So strength athletes need the most.
So I know you gave the whole definition of proteins and stuff like that, but I mean, for a simpleton, what is protein?
Amino acids linked by peptide bonds.
Yes.
Protein basically is just amino acids, and we're gonna cover that later in the
amino acids.
What are amino acids? They're the building blocks of protein. The building blocks of protein.
Cannot define.
That's what it is.
You cannot define.
That's what it is.
Define amino acids by protein and protein by amino acids.
Amino acids are the building blocks of protein.
I mean, protein, when people think of it, they're just thinking about the protein shakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But protein is something that's in your body or food, in your food.
Yeah, you can get protein from food. But too much protein can put a strain on the kidneys. So you don't want too much protein. You want to follow these guidelines depending on your weight and your activity level. The average American diet gets way more than enough protein. I think you can fulfill your protein requirements just by watching a fast food commercial. Like you watch that double cheeseburger, you got enough protein right there.
So wait, so then why are people taking all these protein shakes if you're saying that there's already enough protein already in the diet?
For the average American who's not a strength training athlete who doesn't do any activity. The average American doesn't really do much activity and just eats enough protein.
So you're saying that the people hitting the gym should take protein shakes?
Yes, but you don't need as much as people think. You need about 0.5 to 0.8 grams of protein for every pound.
Okay. So, like, for me, I'm about 150 pounds. And so that would be...
We need a calculator. Let's check it out. I mean,
you said a half, right?
Oh, yeah, half. So 0.5, that's the least. So it could be 75 grams of protein.
Okay.
That would be the least. And then the highest would be...
Because I've read some other stuff about sometimes doing 2 grams of protein
or 1
per
gram,
pound.
Yeah. But that's not scientific. That's probably both science. So, yeah, we don't want to do that.
I mean... Honestly speaking, 75 grams of protein is extremely easy to accomplish.
Yeah, you can easily get that. Yeah,
I know for me, when I'm on a raw diet and I want to get my protein from raw sources, whether it's from nuts or seeds, like that's just that's a little more than 2 cups of nuts.
Mm-hmm. As we mentioned earlier, protein is amino acids linked by peptide bonds, and we said amino acids are the building blocks of protein. And the body uses approximately 20 amino acids to build its many different proteins. There are 2 general classes of amino acids, essential and non-essential. Essential amino acids cannot be manufactured in the body or can be manufactured in insufficient amounts.
So you said the essential ones?
Yeah, the essential amino acids cannot be manufactured in the body, or they're just manufactured in not very large amounts that can't really be used.
Okay, so where are you getting it from?
Where are you getting it from?
Yeah.
You get it from your foods. Yeah. So there's essential and there's non-essential. Essential cannot be manufactured from the body, and then non-essential can be. So you need to get your essential.
So your body
foods.
can produce protein.
It can produce amino acids.
Ah, okay.
Yes. And amino acids are the building blocks of protein. So you need essential and non-essential. So essential you need to get from your foods. Non-essentials are already in your body. So food supplies all of the essential amino acids, right? If a food supplies all of the essential amino acids, it's called a complete protein. If it does not, it's called an incomplete protein.
Now, I mean, all that sounds very complicated.
Yeah.
Complete protein,
And
incomplete
protein.
Like some people say that the complete protein is better for you. Some people say that the incomplete is better because then the body's going to have to work harder to put it together.
Yeah. We're going to explain that in a second.
All
but
right.
major sources of protein come from animal sources, dairy, meats, and major sources of incomplete protein come from grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, and other vegetables.
So those have the complete or incomplete?
The incomplete. So the
the
main sources of
beans
complete
and stuff
are meat and dairy.
Okay.
And the main sources of incomplete are nuts, grains, seeds, barley, cornmeal, buckwheat, all things like that. Those are main sources of incomplete protein.
But I think it's important to point out that just because it's incomplete protein doesn't mean that it's insufficient protein.
Doesn't mean it's bad, and we're going to explain that some more. All right, so some people ask, how can you get complete protein if you're a vegan, right? How can you get complete if you're a vegan?
Mm-hmm.
Well, all you have to do is combine foods, right? Combine different foods to make a complete protein. You can combine foods like a whole grain bread with peanut butter, or you can combine whole grain rice and lentils, or hummus and pita, and much more.
So all those things typically go together.
Yeah, and that makes a complete protein. Also, for complete proteins, you can have vegan shakes, some veggie meats, and even quinoa. Quinoa by itself is a complete protein.
Interesting. I mean, that just sounds like basically you just have to have a balanced diet.
Yeah.
With a variety of foods. It'll put it all together.
And you don't need to have a complete protein in every single meal. You can just have a complete protein for the day. So you don't have to have every single meal have these things combined together. Just as long as you're having a complete protein for the day, and then you're good.
There are protein powders for vegans.
Yeah, I mentioned that. There's vegan protein powders. Yeah, vegan shakes.
Also, if you're on a raw diet, there's also vegan. There's also raw protein shakes. Sun Warrior does. Garden of Life.
Yeah, they're probably
does.
complete.
And those. You say, well, how did they make them? Well, it would be the same thing as if you took the same natural raw ingredients and you dehydrated them. Dehydrating is still considered raw. Mm-hmm. Basically, like if you sun dry a tomato or sun dry a grape,
raisin,
that's not cooked.
Yeah.
So they basically dehydrate all these natural products. They grind it down into powder, and then you put that into your drink or smoothie, and that's your protein shake there.
Yeah.
And that's something that I like to take a lot. I like to take Sun Warrior a lot, and that provides enough protein for a day without having to add as many calories.
So vegans, meat eaters, vegetarians, pescatarians, and Baptists, go out there and get your protein in reasonable amounts.
So yeah, if you want to find a link to some of these protein shakes that we mentioned, you could just find that on the show notes of our podcast. Or you can go and find the same podcast or other podcasts at AdventFit.org. If you want to follow our personal social media accounts, you can find mine at WayneJamel.com.
And you can find me at Instagram.com/Mr. Woke. That's WHOKE.
And until next time, I'm Wayne Jamel.
And I'm C. Jeffrey White. And this is for culture because I do it for the culture. And we'll see you next time, folks.